Welcome to the channel, everyone. We are currently on the test server. We're gonna have a look at the brand new OP mythical champion coming to raid Shadow Legends. And how I mentioned before they even released the mythical champions in the game, once we had access to them on the test server, once we were able to see what they can do, what's their true firepower, do not expect Plarium to release OP mythical champions in the very first batch, but expect them to come later on. And the reason for it is because the community's reaction to the whole mythical idea was very negative. And of course, Plarium is not going to put more wood and more gasoline on the fire to make the community even angrier and make the champions OP from the start and be like, okay, we're going to power creep everything else. OP are the new legendaries. Legendaries will become the new epics, and epics are the new rares. Of course, they're not going to do that from the very beginning, but expect to see a lot of OP mythical champions coming down the line, especially when they're going to introduce void ones. It's going to be just crazy. Now, I want to point out, guys, this champion, she is pretty awesome. Yeah, I would say she is the #1 mythical champion in the game. Night Queen Krixia. Think about Yumeko, split in 2 different forms with a lot of other things on top of it. Is a very, very strong champion, and 100%, I would open all my mythical shards that I have to try and get her. She looks amazing as a design-wise. We're going to check the animations too, but kind of like have an idea in mind of what to expect. And yeah, dope champion. Let's start with the very first form, the initial Metamorph. And when we are talking about skills, guys, she is interesting. With the A1, she attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit has a 50% chance of increasing the duration of all debuffs on the target by 1 turn, which is very nice. And with the A2, Doom Lantern places a decreased resistance and a block buffs debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. This is actually great for Hydra too, because it will be very helpful on a 3-turn cooldown. Now, she is Spirit Affinity. Weak hits can occur, so keep that in mind. And that's the same with this skill right here, which is the A3. Deadly Apparition on a 4-turn cooldown. Attacks all enemies, removes all buffs from all enemies. Also increases the cooldowns of all enemy skills by 3 turns, which is very, very nice. Now, hear me out. This thing right here will create issues, and it will create issues for this particular champion. We're going to get to it once we're going to start testing the champion, and I'm going to be able to explain you everything a bit better and why I think that it shouldn't be like this, at least in my opinion. These champions already will ignore 20% of the resistance of the opponent. So let's just say you're going to try to go with the champion that has 1000 resistance. I'm booking this champion. I will ignore 200 of your resistance, so your champion will literally have 800 resistance against Queen Krixia. Once we're going to get down to the rest of her kit, you're going to understand how powerful she will be with the accuracy. Like, resistance is just not going to stand a chance against this champion, no matter how much resistance you're going to put on it, okay? Keep that in mind. The Metamorph, of course, will alternate the form, and you have the first passive, immune to stun debuffs. Mighty Wukong stun sets or other champions that might land a cheeky stun won't be effective against this champion. No stun sets, etc. Increases this champion's accuracy by 1 for every 2 resistance they have. Now, it's not going to be very easy to get very high resistance on this champion together with a very high accuracy. And the reason for it is because you have no faction guardians for a mythical. It's much harder to empower them, and you do need to have the awakening on them to gain extra stats too. So while you're going to be able to probably get 200-300 resistance without stressing too much from the Great Hall, a couple of sub-stats, glyphs here and there, and I'm talking about very endgame accounts, you're not going to be able to get something like you're getting on Mitrala, 700 accuracy, 700 resistance, you know, because a lot of things are kind of like not in your favor. But still, you're going to be able to get 1000 accuracy on this champion like this, you know, just to make it clear. And ignoring the 20% of the resistance is going to be just, you don't even need to increase accuracy regardless of how much resistance an enemy will have, okay? The aura increases resistance in all battles by 80. Let's move over to the next Metamorph. The good part is that you can build this champion on one build and maximize her kit. With the A1, attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit has a 50% chance of decreasing the duration of all debuffs on a random ally by 1 turn. So that's pretty good. You have a chance to get a bit of a cleanse. It's kind of like doing the opposite of what the first form does. The A2 attacks all enemies, places a block debuffs buff and a 50% increased resistance buff on all allies for 2 turns. Then fills the thermometer of all allies by 20%. I think I forgot to mention that she decreases the thermometer of enemies by 20% as well with the A2 before. I think I missed reading that part. But this is pretty nice too. Then you have the A3. Removes all debuffs from all allies, so you're getting a full cleanse. Then decreases the cooldown of all ally skills except this champion by 3 turns on a 5-turn cooldown. Guys, you have Yumeko split in 2. This is much, much better. Basically, when you're doing an offense team with Yumeko, you're locking, you're resetting at the same time. Yumeko is the fastest. Your other champions will not really benefit out of the reset, okay? Because you use the skill already to lock the enemy. With this one, you can lock the enemies, change Metamorph, reset the cooldowns of all the nukers that used their skills before, or support champions, or whatever else you're using in there, and basically use them both twice as you should, you know? So that's going to be very, very impactful for offense. It's going to be very helpful. Now, there are a couple of issues with this champion that, how I mentioned, we're going to discuss in just a second. Then you have the passive, immune to sleep. So Sifi is not going to have a chance to crowd control this champion when we are on this Metamorph. Increases this champion's speed by 1 for every 10 resistance they have. Stacks up to 50. So if you have a 500 resistance, you're going to get 50 extra speed from the passive, which is pretty damn nice. But of course, you're not going to start on this initial form. You're going to have to use the Metamorph, and then you're going to become faster. Same aura increases resistance in all battles by 80. The good part about this champion is that if you are trying to counter Yumekos, you're trying to counter Warlords in your defense team, you can build this champion with very high resistance and still have accuracy to lock the enemies, okay? So that's going to be a pretty interesting thing. You're not going to have like stupid accuracy of 1000 on her, but let's just say you're trying to get her to 700 resistance. You're still going to have 350 accuracy on top of what you can already have from glyphs, from substats on your gear, etc. So it's going to be pretty damn impactful. When we are talking about build, guys, I have double perception and an accuracy set. Now, this again will be up to your own discretion. Can be perception, can be stone skin, can be immunity, can be speed, can be anything that gives you accuracy, okay? That's the main thing that you need to keep in mind. Total stats on my Krixia: 52k HP, 3.4k attack, 355 speed, 717 accuracy, 254 resistance. So out of that 254 resistance, I will have 27 accuracy more on what I have already, putting me to a total of like 840 accuracy. Ignoring 20% of the target's resistance, nobody will stand a chance. Like, if I'm going to get more accuracy, I'm going to lock the highest resistance Mitralas in the game without a problem, okay? Keep that in mind. That's how powerful that can be. Then, talking about masteries, we have defense and support 3. Of course, Defiant will benefit you, so make sure you're getting it. If you're ever going to pull this champion, Eagle Eye will be tier 6. Now, I kind of like went in with Cycle of Magic, and of course, Lasting Gifts for the second form, you know? I was like, should I get something for a turn meter? Like, the first form is gonna debuff, but maybe I'm gonna get Polymorphed, and it's not really gonna benefit me at all after. Then, should I go with Arcane Celerity? This can help me on the second form. It can be pretty helpful, but you know what? I feel like I'll rather get the Shadow Heal to try to get some healing on her and have the Resurgent. It might benefit me a bit more than counting on the other masteries. That being said, let's take the champion in for a spin in Arena, guys, and see how powerful Queen Krixia will actually be in Raid Shadow Legends. So here we are. We're gonna try something like this to go against this team. It might not work, but you know what? We're gonna give it a go. They do have some polymorph, so we have 3-star polymorph, we have 4-star polymorph. The good thing again with Krixia and polymorph is that if you have some high resistance on her, It will benefit her just generally in her kit, but will benefit her to go against low level of polymorph as well, which is pretty impactful on the lower tier of arena. When we are talking about higher tier, everybody kind of like tends to have some 6-star polymorph, so that's going to be pretty nasty. Now, what we can do right here is actually even have a chance to remove the stone skin, which is nice. There we go. We increase the cooldown of everybody, you see. Now, of course, Taras is still going to counterattack. He still has a chance to kill her because we're actually attacking, similar with Warlord, unlike Yumeko does. So that's good. But we managed to remove the stone skin from Marichka, which I find it pretty damn important right now, because we're going to be able to just go in and pour in a serious nuke on the champion, and hopefully no reaction. And bang, she's down. So now that Taras is not going to kill my Taras, and slowly we're just going to rack that Siphi. Now, if I'm going to put decrease resistance, block buffs, it's not really going to help me whatsoever in here. So what I would probably do, change Metamorph. I'm not going to decrease the cooldowns because I haven't used the AoE just yet. But I can do this, block debuffs and increase resistance on my team. So I already have block debuffs. It's not going to be very impactful. Increase resistance is not going to be impactful against this team, but it's going to make her immune to sleep anyway if I wouldn't have, for example, block debuffs on the team, you know? So that's going to be something nice as an idea. If she doesn't get polymorphed, is massive. Now, once we're going to get polymorphed, you're going to get to the rant as well, because I do want to rant a bit about polymorph. I feel like it's kind of like a necessity, you know? Decrease the cooldowns, let's buff again, we can just do this. We can have Marichka to heal back again, so my champions are staying alive and just feeling good there, you know? Now I would have had a chance to cleanse, and now we can just nuke and bang, wipe everybody off. So that was actually a pretty good example of how you can use Krixia, which is an amazing champion in my opinion. Even though polymorph will be an issue, I feel like we can play it around. So there we go. This one has 6-star polymorph. Even if he has some resistance, it doesn't matter. Let's give it a go and see how well it's going to be played in here. And Spirit Affinity. If we're going against Magic Affinity, which thankfully is not very impactful in Arena. We have Elva, which is great. Rotos. And you're not really using many other Magic champions at least in high-end Arena. In the lower tiers, yeah, you do have a few others, but just as an idea. So right here, if we are getting polymorphed, if we're trying to remove some debuffs, that's going to be a problem, because she's not going to lock the cooldowns of the skills, guys, okay? I hope that this person will have more buffs on, like a stone skin or something else, but I guess in a way it's not such a big deal, because if you're faster, they will only have stone skin, so it's a 50-50 chance to remove it. And then is the chance to polymorph. If they nerf polymorph next year at the beginning, how they mentioned, it's not going to be such a massive issue. But as it stands right now, when they buff, it's going to be an issue. So I'm going to let them buff just so you guys can see what can happen, you know? So we don't want to put block buffs. Let's just use the A1 there. Let's just go in like that. And then we're gonna come back to it in a second, you know? Let's just put all the buffs in the world on our team. And okay, they buffed, so we have some buffs to remove now. There we go. So now he has one 6-star polymorph, right? And he has a 3-star one, which I don't think we're gonna have a chance to resist it actually, but let's go. Let's go and give it a go. There you go. So that's what happened, okay? We got polymorphed, no skills got increased on anyone. And we removed the buffs from one champion only. Now, polymorph is extremely broken at the moment, okay? Plarium really needs to address it. I'm at a point where I just cannot comprehend anymore how the developers do not understand what a negative impact polymorph has on the game and how it just vaults champions. And it's 2023. We had polymorph for over 1 year in the game. And the main idea here is that they're constantly releasing champions that are praise to polymorph, champions that are not viable at all in the game because of polymorph, you know? So that is still an issue. I know polymorph is not a big deal for everybody, but some people do have an issue with polymorph in the higher tiers of the game, you know, and everybody will eventually get to the higher tiers of the game. And will get to experience the same issue if they're not taking some serious measures against Polymorph. So I just wanted to show you how this will actually work. Now, if we're going to come back to this fight again, because I want to show you the second version of it when we don't let them buff, you know, we're actually going to go full action and see what this team can actually do. Bolster set cannot be removed, okay? The more protected buffs on the enemies, the better, because we don't have a chance to get Polymorph like that. So there we go. Lock the skills on everybody. Nice. Job done. I think we've done it on Demitrala too. And my mythical champion is not booked yet, actually. I forgot to book her. That would have been quite helpful, I would assume. So let's go in like this. Let's put in as many buffs as possible on Taras. Drop a nuke, because then we're going to go back to the other Metamorph and reset the cooldowns of the skills. There we go. This is the nice thing with her in offense, man. That's why I do prefer her over Yumeko. Now, of course, there are pros and cons with both of the champions. And I do think because of this main reason right here, she is better than Yumeko, you know? Better than Yumeko for these things. Especially for offense. And now we can nuke again. My god. That shield on his team. He always has tanky teams. Always has tanky teams. Let's try to take that Duchess down ASAP before she even has a chance to revive. We're going to do a couple of different fights with some different teams just to kind of like see what we can expect. Are we going to take that Duchess down before? Probably not. That UDK is just... UDK is so busted too, man. Like, again, people say, oh, Marichka and Taras, they're so hard to beat. They're not. If UDK would not be there, Rotos would just destroy them. But unfortunately, that's not the case. That is not the case. So let's just do this. Metamorph again. Do this. Increase the cooldowns. And we didn't go Polymorph. Look at that. Look at that. That actually felt good. Not getting Polymorphed and swapping around the Metamorphs is definitely impactful in my opinion. Block buffs. We got Polymorph now, but it doesn't matter. Boom. Go down. Never look for me again, you know? So it's a very, very strong champion like this, man. Like, I would love to get her, don't get me wrong. 100%. I'm just gutted with this Polymorph, you know? I'm gutted that they are constantly making champions that are hardly getting countered by Polymorph, you know? We have a few different teams in here that we're going to try. This looks interesting. Both of the couples, you know? 6-star Polymorph on that Taras. But that will not stop us. That will not stop us. And we're still going to go like this. Stone Skin. So, luckily, his Marichka has only a 5-star Polymorph. Maybe she doesn't have very high accuracy. So, maybe we're not going to get Polymorphed. Hopefully. Okay, we got a weak hit on Rotos. You've seen. So, Rotos is going to be a pretty nasty counter to her because that weak hit didn't lock his skills, so he's gonna kill her right now. Just check her out. I'm pretty convinced he's gonna kill her now. And I feel like I want to kill her again. Ah, oh, that was close. We didn't have enough firepower. The bolster set, you see? The bolster set. We can do this too. Or no. Oh, ooh, what should we do? We're gonna do this. So many options, right? There we go, we got Polymorphed. Not that many options anymore. I was like, I'm gonna do that. Then I wanted to do something else. I was like, I haven't used the AoE on Taras anyway, so why should I do something else, you know? Okay, see if he's coming back. That's fine. You see, that's what Rotos can do if there's no UDK, guys. Look at that. If there's no UDK, Rotos will constantly proc extra turns by hitting Marichka. I showed you this in different videos. It's a very strong strategy against the couple, and it's very effective now with Wukong. You know, I showcased it in a previous video before or so, but because of UDK, people cannot do that. Okay, and they blame Marichka and Taras, but it's actually Polymorph and other things that they make them. I'm not saying they're not strong; they're very strong, but there are other things that make the couple so much stronger, you know, and so indestructible, so hard to deal with, you know. There we go. That was actually a pretty good one. What else do we wanna check? Let's see if we're going against the Krixia, for example. How are we playing it here? So we have a Wukong, we have his Arbiter, And we have the 2 new mythical champions, which were kind of like featured in the same video together. So I feel like I wanna play it a bit different. Now, my champions are not extremely fast, okay? Are not extremely fast here. So let's see how we can actually counter her. Resistance will be pretty pointless. I'm not sure how fast is his Arbiter. Hell, I'm not even sure how fast is my Arbiter, actually. 329. Okay, would be nice if I would have some gear on her. That would actually help me quite a bit, but seems like I don't. But you know what? You know what? No, 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 no. Let's play it completely different. Let's play it completely different, and I'm still gonna go like this. I'm still gonna go like this, most probably. Yes, let's do it. Let's try it. We're gonna let them lock, and we're gonna change Metamorph with her. No, don't kill her, man. Don't kill her. She's fast, that one too as well, huh? Okay. The plan does not work as intended, guys. Seems like we're going to have to put in some serious work with our magic champion, Rotos, who is actually pretty damn good against her, because she weaks hit. She hits weak. She hits weak. I can't even speak anymore, my god. But basically, that's one option. And then we're gonna come back at it with some different sort of strategy, you know? Weak hit against her because she's forced. We could have revived right there to actually showcase Krixia too, but we're gonna do it now. Okay, weak hit, thank you. So now basically, let's just say we were alive and we got locked. We were able to do this when we were taking our turn and then do this, you know? So think about having a high resistance Skymar without the resistance, you know? Just with the rest of the things. So that's kind of like how well it will work with her, you know? But just kind of like wanted to point it out. There you go. Again, weak hit, man. I was like, this surely it won't be a weak hit. But then that Wukong had no accuracy, no firepower to do anything, so it's pretty much game over. There are quite a few different ways on how you can run Krixia. I feel like the same build will benefit you all around. You don't need to have different builds. Yes, how I mentioned, Stone Skin can be pretty nice if you will be able to get the right stats on the champion. Let's just try our luck. That's what you need to do. That's what you need to do. Ignores the resistance. Job done. So we can go back to what we were doing. You can fully book her. I'm just keeping the books because I want to try the Fusion Mythical Champion. I don't know how many books we need in that champion, so I'm gonna keep 10 of them. I wanted to get that ignore resistance. I managed to do it. It's just super skills, guys. That's exactly what I've done right there. Skills. So let's go against Farbstop. We have his Mitrala. She's with Brimstone, which, again, it will increase her accuracy quite a bit. Probably he's running her in Hydra. But let's give it a go with a different combination of champions in here. And you know what? Let's go in like this. Let's go in like this. Because why not? Let's try something different. Let's try something different. And recently used first Krixia. There we go. I have tons of speed. My accuracy is not that crazy. I'm supposed to use Ramantu as lead, but I'm a bit slow-minded sometimes. No buffs to remove only that Stone Skin from Duchess. We increase the cooldowns on everyone, including his Mitrala. So if that Mitrala would have 1000 plus resistance, doesn't matter, okay? It doesn't matter for Krixia. So we remove the Stone Skin. I like it. I like it. It's kind of like a bit of a gamble, you know, like, at least it will be a bit of a gamble once they're gonna fix the whole polymorph thing, you know? We're gonna do this. We're gonna buff. We don't decrease the cooldowns of skills just yet because my Baron is a bit slower than the rest, you know? And now we can just bang, job done, you know? So if that team would not die, I could reset the AoE on Baron. I feel like this will definitely enable faster farms on some of the teams that we have in the game at the moment. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, ladies and gentlemen. Krixia just became my most wanted champion in Raid Shadow Legends. Hopefully, it's not going to be the same situation that I had with Yumeko, chasing her for the last 2 years. I'm not going to wail on a primal shards. They're very expensive, and I don't necessarily feel like it's going to give me that much value. But let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Appreciate every single one of you watching. Much love, and I'll catch you all soon in the next video. Peace.